Man, there's some beautiful sweaters in this room tonight.
They really are. They really are.
Where was one? You told me you had me one. What'd you do?
Shipping, international shipping. So it's not kind to us, unfortunately.
Florida American Business, Tom.
Let's go Wes, Rob, then Ryan.
Rick, what do you learn about the sort of the toughness of your team when you get off to a big start like that? It's such a talented team, keeps coming back, but never takes the lead.
Well, we knew that we were playing a very tough team in a lot of different areas. It was a big thing that we talked about, that we're going to have to. We talked about it being a heavyweight fight, which it was, and there was no doubt. I think our older guys have been around long enough to know that when you jump on a team that's as good as, and they're every bit as good as their reputation and where they're ranked, maybe they should be higher. But it was a hard-fought game, and you knew they would make a push to get back in it. I thought the way we finished the half, that was a big sequence for us where we were able to go down and score. We were wanting to go 2 for 1 from there. We took a little bit longer than we want, but then they probably shot it a little bit earlier than they wanted to. And but our older guys, I thought, when at that point when you bend a little bit where you don't break, I thought what Folky did on the front line was huge. Finally, we got it to him and got to the free throw line, and Josiah made some plays. A stat on that as big as any is what Olivier did with those blocks. I mean, those were some big time blocks, and even the one he got fouled on, I thought it was a great play by him, and against a team that really they block a lot of shots. I think they had blocked 7 coming in, but it was a great effort. And again, Santi at times, he settled us down. So Justin Powell coming off the bench, everybody when the game had something to do with it. But to your question, yeah, I think it's something that we needed, and because it was really a hard-fought game both ways.
Coach, how important do you think it was to get off the start like that, to get the fans going, to get the momentum in the building?
Well, obviously you love it as a coach, but you also know that when you're playing somebody as well coached as Arizona, they've got a toughness about them. And again, we knew going in it was going to be difficult for both teams to score. We knew that, and we knew we'd have to adjust along the way to figure out what we needed to do there. But our fans, I mean, what can you say? It's great to be at Tennessee Vol, and it's great. This place gets rocking. It's as good as anywhere. But we knew they would make a push back now. We did, and we felt like it'd be a game of where momentum would go back and forth. But in the end, we were able to make enough plays to get the win.
What did you say about Hillsborough offensively to do what you were able to do tonight when Kennedy's kind of struggled shooting it?
Well, Kennedy's going to have to learn to play when the floor is shrunk. He's going to have to learn to do that. And but we tell our guys, we believe this. I didn't think we were very organized offensively coming out at halftime. What we were trying to get done, we weren't doing, because there's a fine line. We want to attack. We want to try to get out, and because you don't want to have to play against a set defense the whole game. But we weren't making good decisions when we didn't have it in transition. We threw the ball away a couple of times that were just pretty ridiculous passes at times. But the fact is, and I thought some guys were hesitant to shoot. We kept encouraging them to take their shots. We felt like early in the game, guys were passing up shots, trying to drive it. And they're a hard team to drive on. They're like us. They build a pretty good wall on the defensive end. Plus, they have shot blockers. But we knew it wasn't going to be many easy baskets to have. But we've got to be better with our organization because we were making some adjustments on the fly, trying to open the court up, trying to put pressure by driving the ball, and really trying to get to the foul line.
Let's go Mike, Grant, then Ben.
Rick, 2 questions, both about Folky. It seemed like there was definitely more effort to get him the ball maybe in the final 10 minutes than throughout the rest of the year. And then what was it like for you just seeing him do this after what he went through last year?
Folky came out 30 minutes before everybody today and shoot around, and he was out when I left last night after our meeting. He was on the floor shooting. He knows that this is his last year, and there's no doubt he wants to give it to him. And we need him to do what he does. I mean, whether he scores it, but putting fouls, that was a big part of it. I mean, if you take the fact he put 13 fouls on him, he had a triple double in a way that not many people call triple doubles. But they felt good, and again, I think that at that point, when you got a guy that can do that, when you're on the defensive end, you're really leery of going to double because you know that the other team's got. We had 4 guys out there that could shoot 3, and you just know, hey, they're going to nail one right here, and it can really sway the game in a big way. But the one he turned over at the end, that's what we're trying to get him not to do: hold it, and then think he's going to go to work, because by then the defense is going to come get him. But he was terrific. I mean, he really was, but a lot of guys. I'm telling you, it was a great team effort.
Defensively, what went into those first 10 minutes? I think you guys had 9 forced turnovers in the first 8 minutes. A lot of those were steals. Did you guys see something on film you could take advantage of?
Well, you know, again, we were trying to, you know, as the game goes on, you know, ball screen defense is, sometimes you have to adjust it, and we do adjust throughout the game. But early, we were really trying to hit hard at the point of contact right there, trying to slow them down, and we were working hard with our tags on the back. The ball screen action is one thing where you've got to obviously be good there, but it's what happens behind it, and that's where we were able to turn it over. And we really did a great job early in the game, not getting spread out. We did feel like they hurt us in transition, and they're a really good transition team where they just outran us a couple times. And but early, we really did a great job of closing the belly down and getting some deflections and getting out. Then we, came out, pressed a few times and just trying to not let them get comfortable, because you saw it the second half, they got comfortable. We felt like we let them get comfortable, but you got to give them the credit because they weathered it, and then they got back into what they were doing, and they made some big shots too.
Rick, with Urosh and Olivier, those minutes from Urosh during the first half to start the game, then Olivier with some big blocks and rebounds. Is that kind of what you envisioned them doing, and when they're at their best?
I thought again, Urosh's defense was big. I mean, he was out there doing what we need him to do on that end. Yeah, we need those guys to do that. There is no doubt we need, and Olivier certainly has the ability to do it. They do it, both of them do it a different way, and I just think as the year goes on, they get minutes. They will. They'll continue to get better.
Coach, looked like you really shortened the bench tonight. Brandon and Victor didn't play very much, and Justin was on the floor at crunch time. That was a big change. Just look at those decisions.
Well, one, it's a hard game for a young guy, and I mean this is a hard game. It really was, and as you know, it becomes a possession game, and it ended up being a really one possession game, which. That's what we thought going in, and we felt like the matchups that they had, and they only play about 8 guys. We felt like the best thing for us was to try to keep the guys on certain guys, and they a couple times went 4 guards, we went 4 guards, and so that because of that, cuts down certainly one guy on the front line won't play as much when we go small, but we just felt like Justin needed the opportunity, and I thought he came in and made the most of it. But we believe in VJ, we believe in all of our guys, we do, and we think on any given night, any one of them can play the role that they need to play to help us win a game.
Right, Mike?
You mentioned earlier Folky's ability to draw fouls. Do you have many guys that can draw 13 fouls in a game like that?
I've had a couple. KD was pretty good at it. Eric Williams was pretty good at it, but he does it differently. He's got that little jumper that he's got, but little hook he's got. But he's a hard guy because he's slippery. He'll shot fake, step around, do some things, and I'm just I still think there's just a lot more left in the tank where he'll continue to get back to where we know he can be. He was terrific tonight, but we need it from him every night.
Right.
Would you like from Josiah tonight, and how big is that for him in that?
Joe, again, think about the 3. That was a huge 3 he made in the second. And you go back, if you really look at the game, I thought our older guys, when we needed something, kind of going back to what we were talking about, where they made a push. The older guys were the guys that did it. That was a big basket. He does so much on the defensive end, and he gets his hands on balls. I think he got tired tonight. I think it's the most minutes he's played all year. I think it's probably the most minutes most guys played. But again, he's been around a long time. Joe played 32 minutes. We haven't. I don't know if he's played that many all year, but But again, he's been around. He knows how to play. He's got a feel for it. Offensive rebounding was the key at the start of the game, and he and Olivier, those guys were going in there, going at it. But again, I talk about the glue. It's always really Joe and Santi. They're the two guys. They've been around. There's a little calmness that they bring with these young guys, and we still have some young guys that are playing big minutes in a game like this. I mean, think about it. Urosh and Olivier, they haven't been in a lot of high-level games like this, but I think they draw on those two guys' confidence, and Folky to an extent too, obviously.
All right, last question in the back.
Great win tonight, Coach. Sorry, back here. Yeah. Thank you for the kind words. First of all, but
I would have been kinder if I didn't see those 16 turnovers. I mean, how many was it?
3 in the first half.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
You told me at halftime.
Yeah.
Great win. I loved your energy from start to finish. What are your plans this year for December 25th?
You know what? I'm really excited. I'm going to get up early in the morning, go see my grandkids. I'm going to get to spend 2 days with them in Texas. And you going with me?
I wasn't invited, but
Oh, you're always invited. Hey, it's part of the NIL. You know, you're paying. Yeah. Yeah. Now that's what I'm going to do. What are you doing?
I'm gonna drive back home tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
What do you think your mom's got you for Christmas?
The jump shots. Hopefully.
No, he's gonna be fine. He works too hard. How's your finger, by the way?
It's good.
When do you get that off?
Hopefully a week and a half. Me and Chad talked about it today.
Good. That's all we're waiting on.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Merry Christmas.